What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. We're finishing it up. All the real Die Hard movies, we're going to finish it up tonight. Die Hard 5 doesn't really count. It was kind of, he was contractually obligated to play John McClane one more time, and they needed some way to make Jai Courtney a little bit of a bigger star, so why not put him next to Bruce Willis? That's going to work, right? Not really, no. But anyway, we're going to skip that one. Maybe I'll do a short review of it just to kind of complete the set, but I am not really a completionist the way that other people are, especially when it comes to video games and movies. Sometimes movies just suck, so that's just the way that goes. But we are here to talk about Live Free or Die Hard, or Die Hard 4.0, or Die Hard 4, whatever the hell you want to call it, however the hell you want to refer to it as. Here with me tonight is the Dowager Countess, Lady Cora. How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm great. Things are good.
She's even the first one in the chat. Lady Cora says, hi, all. So if you're out there watching, she's saying hi to you. And then, of course, the Shape from Lone Star State, my man Tex. What's up, brother?
Very fitting that we watch this, or that we review this movie. I mean, we've got helicopters and planes falling out of the sky, crashing into one another. Are we sure this is not a pre-documentary?
This is not actually happening in real life?
Are we sure? Somebody check on Timothy Olyphant to make sure he hasn't broke bad, and he's just reliving this thing. But either way, no, I'm good. It's spent the day at the Fort Worth Stock Show. Took some animals up there doing some redneck things as we like to do and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun. Walked and seen all the animals and had some good barbecue. Just living life, man. Telling you what.
Well, let's get right into the review. We are obviously, let me scroll back up to where all my stuff is. There we are. We are here to talk about Live Free or Die Hard, released as Die Hard 4.0 outside of North America. It is a 2007 American action thriller film directed by Len Wiseman and serves as the fourth installment of the Die Hard film franchise. It is based on the 1997 article A Farewell to Arms, written for Wired magazine by John Carlin. The film's name references New Hampshire's state motto, Live Free or Die. In the film, New York PD Detective John McClane, played by Bruce Willis again, attempts to stop a cyber terrorist named Thomas Gabriel, played brilliantly by Timothy Olyphant, who hacks into the commercial and government computers across the United States with the goal of starting a fire sale cyber attack that would disable key elements of the nation's infrastructure. Justin Long, Cliff Curtis, Maggie Q, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead also starred in this film. On its opening weekend, Live Free or Die Hard made $33.3 million, $48.3 million over the long weekend, making a total of $134.5 million domestically, and going on to gross a worldwide total of $385.5 million, making the 12th highest grossing film of 2007. As of 2022, it is the most successful film in the series. The film had a reported budget of about $110 million. On Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 82% based on 209 reviews and an average rating of 6.8 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, quote, Live Free or Die Hard may be preposterous, but it's an efficient, action-packed summer popcorn flick with thrilling stunts and a commanding performance by Bruce Willis. Fans of the previous Die Hard films will not be disappointed. I think that's a fair enough way to put it in the consensus review. But let's get to what you guys think. I'll start with you, Lady Cora. Give me some quick thoughts on what you thought of the quick synopsis that you read of the movie.
Well, first of all, I watched the wrong movie. And I found out just a few minutes ago.
You were supposed to fake it. You're doing it wrong, Cora.
Well, I don't think I can fake it all the way. I have seen this movie years ago. I watched the Die Hard that they say doesn't exist, okay? I watched the one that we went to Russia. And it has nothing to do with this. I will say I loved this movie when I did see it years ago. Timothy Olyphant is hot shit, and it's a great concept. The world goes to shit, and John McClane saves it. It's bigger than an airport. It's bigger than a town. It's the whole fucking world, and So yeah, it's a great movie, and I may watch it again, like I should have today.
Tex, how about you? Give me some of your quick thoughts on Live Free or Die Hard.
This is the best Die Hard movie. Fuck every one of the other ones. I said it, at me. I don't care. Yeah, I like this one. This one's fun. This one kind of breaks the mold of, well, like when you watch Die Hards 1 through 3, they have more of that gritty kind of feel and look and style to them. This one's more of a polished clean CGI action fest, kind of over the top, like that review you read a couple minutes ago. But to me, this one's the most fun and it's the most relevant. And considering the technological world that we all live in today, I think is why this one holds up so much better because, I mean, look at the stuff and technology that's going on. I mean, Elon Musk is like launching rockets into space and landing them and technology everywhere. We've got it, everything is connected. This plot is so believable today, it's ridiculous, which is why I think this one holds up as well as it does. Of course, Bruce Willis and John McClane never hurt. So, yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I'm right with you. It's like this one. It's like, God, the two best Die Hard movies. It's like the first one and this one are like right here. And the second and third one are good. The fifth one, I actually watched the fifth one last night. And while I didn't hate it as much as I used to, it's still not a very good Die Hard movie. I mean, yeah, it's got Bruce Willis playing John McClane, but there's so much weird shit about that movie that just doesn't work for me. Great action stuff, sure, but yeah, they tried to make it like a spy thing, but still have it be a Die Hard movie. I'm like, no, this is not working for me. But yeah, this movie is a classic. I mean, I can't really complain anything about this movie at all. Even the additions that they made of some of the other characters worked out well. Sometimes you add a character and it kind of throws the chemistry off. But like the characters they added in here were perfect for the story. They were great foils to McClane, not just as a bad guy needs to be a foil to the good guy, but just like his relationship with Justin Long's character the entire movie, like having to deal with this really young kid who is the antipode of everything that he is, this old school gritty bullish cop against this one kid who's way more cerebral, way more thoughtful, way more of a thinker about things. It's just it was great. Everything they did with this movie was great. Every one of these movies has done very well about adding something different. It's like first movie comes down, great. Second movie comes down, he's an LAPD cop now. It's other kinds of terrorists are trying to get this other thing out. They changed it enough. Third one, obviously changing the setting was a big deal, changing it to New York, bringing back that little bit of a flavor from the first one, having it be Hans's brother trying to kill him and all that. But this one, it did up the stakes a little bit. Also, it modernized it very, very well. I mean, having old school John McClane go up against this cyber terrorist and his whole team of computer hackers was, I mean, you would think if those two guys are not going to be in the same ring together, but they get in the same ring together and it's still fireworks and awesome. So yeah, I thought it was very well done. But let's start first by talking about the director, Len Wiseman. I'll go to you first, Tex. He's got a history doing all kinds of stuff. A lot of TV pilots of shows that ended up being very well loved. What do you think of the job that he did with this movie and kind of Len Wiseman's work overall?
I thought he did fantastic with this film. I mean, we've both been praising it since it started. I mean, now my favorite work that he's done is obviously the Underworld franchise. I love those movies, even the bad, like the worst ones, like the later ones where Kate Beckinsale goes like blonde and weird, and like even the Rise of the Lycan Underworld film. I thought I enjoyed it. It wasn't nearly as good as the first two Underworld films, but I'm a fan of that franchise. But this guy's got that early 2000s kind of style action nailed down. I mean, between this, the Underworld films, so many of the things that, like, even watching those two films or watching this and like some of the action in the Underworld stuff, you can kind of see his style crossing over, and it worked for this time period. I'm a fan of this guy. I like his work. He does good stuff.
I don't know, Cora, what about you? I'm willing to bet that a couple of the TV pilots you've actually probably seen and watched those shows. But what did you think about Len Wiseman as a director and what he did with this movie?
It was good. I wouldn't complain about it. He's touched a lot of cool projects. I'm a fan of the Underworld movies. Those were movies I watched over and over again 20 years ago, whenever the fuck they, were out on DVD. But yeah, can't complain. You did a good job.
Yeah, I do like the Underworld movies as well. I think the last couple weren't great. I know he directed or produced all of them. I think he only directed.
I only saw the first two. I'll be honest.
Yeah, the last couple. I mean, there was definitely a little bit of a drop in quality towards the end, but they were
Wasn't
still
there a
pretty
prequel or something?
Yeah,
the prequel was Rise of the Lycans, which they go back and tell why the blood feud between the vampires and the werewolves.
Because they couldn't have explained that in the movie that we watched in the first place. Oh wait, they did.
Well,
Well, you got to have a plot to drive this another movie. So
well,
you can make
it's
more
called
money.
show business, so
Yeah.
they're going to cash grab as many as possible, just like every other franchise does. So.
What's cool that he got his hands on the Die Hard movie for sure, because there's
Casey's
only so many of them. So
Oh,
Casey,
Corey, you're being recruited by Casey Israel.
Casey, all I can tell you is I'm working on something for the next review just for you. Buddy.
how can you recruit me away from a channel? I'm a ghost in as it is. You want me to be a ghost on your channel and not be there? Sure, let's
Well,
do
see, that's
it.
what you do. You just tell them that you're going to be on his channel full time, and then you just don't go over there.
Oh, that's it, Casey. Make Corey your number one co-host. It'll be great.
Yeah.
She'll be there all the time.
Yeah, all the
Only
time.
do show with me, so you talk to me and nobody else,
Right,
and then I
yeah.
won't show up and you can talk to yourself.
Right.
But
There you go.
like I said, I'm
Yeah,
actually
shit.
kind of impressed. He did the pilot episodes for a lot of shows I didn't even realize he did. He did the pilot episode for the new Hawaii Five-0 series, which I didn't watch a whole lot. He did the pilot episode for the Sleepy Hollow TV series on Fox, which I loved it.
That one was good. I like that.
It got kind of stupid towards the end. I
Yeah.
wasn't loving it. I don't
Yeah.
even think I watched the last season because as the show went on, it got dumber and dumber. He did Lucifer, which was a tremendously popular show. A lot of people I know liked Lucifer. He did.
I started it and finish it, but it looks
Yeah.
good.
He did The Gifted, which I didn't watch, but I heard was actually a lot of people like. And
That was that shitty X-Men television show where
that's it. Yeah.
where Fox would only let them use the F tier X-Men nobody wanted to touch, and they would kind of briefly reference the movies, but not really. It was not very good. I didn't like it.
He also did the pilot episode for Swamp Thing, the DC property that only got canceled almost as soon as the first episode dropped. But I've heard a lot of people
It
really
was
like that series.
yeah.
I've been wanting to watch it.
That show got canceled because of tax breaks, which they filmed that show because what Warner Brothers did, they launched their DC Universe app. It was the DC streaming service where they had all their movies, TV shows, and comics and everything. And Swamp Thing was one of their original programming, and they were filming it in North Carolina. Well, for Swamp Thing, you need a swamp. So they built a fake swamp, which was stupid. They just could have went a little further south to Louisiana and all the swamp you needed for free, but whatever. So that show was canceled for tax breaks. That show was canceled before they even aired the first episode, and it was a great first season. It had Derek Mears as Swamp Thing. He played Jason in the 2009 Friday the 13th. It was great. I liked it.
I actually just watched the original Swamp Thing movie from like 84, 85
Oh, yeah.
the other day with a still really hot Adrienne Barbeau.
So I was going to say when Adrienne Barbeau was, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
I was watching. I was like, "This movie's so campy and terrible, but it's still so fun to watch. It makes me feel good."
Well, that's part of the charm of that. It's going to suck, but it's like, okay, I can forgive because it's fun. So whatever.
Yeah, but I love what he did with this movie. I mean, bringing it into the 21st century with all the tech and it's like at times they make fun of McClane for being old and for being kind of the man out of time a little bit. But
right.
I mean, it worked out really nice. They didn't make him such an outcast in this. It really is, aside from just the brute force against the tech knowledge, it is also, McClane still showing he's still relevant through the entire movie. He's not just the old guy. And even at the end of the movie, it's not like him having one of these Danny Glover moments where he's like, I'm too old for this shit. I got to retire now. That's how the movie ends. He's just like, no, I'm still a cop. I can still do this. I'm going to go out there and bang it out every day. But yeah, I really love the job he did with this. Again, I can't knock any of their performances. I'll get to the cast here in a minute. I can't knock any of their performances either. This really is a movie that he put together very, very well, from the casting to the writing to the directing. All of it works out very, very well. It really was a very complete movie, which was nice to see because there was this obvious kind of – all the movies were good, but you could see that there was this obvious kind of – there was this drop, not so much in quality, but in the filmmakers taking the movie seriously.
Yeah,
they're just like, we're not out here to make the next great movie. We're just out here to make another Die Hard movie. And I think maybe that kind of showed a little bit more as we got deeper into the franchise. This one, he was just like, no, I'm kicking it up a little bit. I'm making it all crazy. I even love the color tones and the color palettes in this movie compared to the last couple movies.
I do too. It's got that very bright tint to it at times. Yeah. I like it.
all of it's got like that like perfect, the perfect hour, the golden hour kind of feel to it. It's like,
I mean,
the
hell,
sun
look
and
at the
light on just
background.
right.
The background that you've got right here, it looks like it's out of 300, and Leonidas is going to come walking out or something. It looks good, so it works.
But yeah, I really love what Len Wiseman did with this. I can't complain about it at all. Now let's talk about the cast of the movie. Obviously, Bruce Willis, fantastic as always. And adding in the cast that they did was awesome. I can't complain about any of these additions. Justin Long, who was really hitting his stride as an actor at the time, his popularity was exploding. Cliff Curtis is one of my favorite character actors. Maggie Q, this is the first thing I remember seeing her in, but she was fantastic. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who I knew she had done stuff before this, I don't remember what. But obviously, Timothy Olyphant was the best addition to this cast. I'll go to you first, Tex. What did you think of the cast of the film, and who stood out to you the most?
Well, I'll leave Timothy Olyphant for Cora to drool over because I know that's her man. I'm actually going to praise the one guy you didn't mention in here, Kevin Smith. We don't get a lot of him in this movie, but he is hilarious when we see him. I don't like skinny Kevin Smith all woke and crap, but give me fat Kevin Smith every day of the week. Whenever you're a fan of the fat, and he goes, no, I like Star Wars. Who is this guy? That whole scene within the movie was great. You brought a cop into my command center. It's a command center. It's a basement. He's basically just playing Kevin Smith in this movie, which I think is why the role works, because he's not even really trying. Like, I'm pretty sure that's Kevin Smith's clothes. Like, he just showed up to set and he was like, okay, you want me to be a fat computer nerd that lives in mom's basement? Oh, okay, I can do that. His is, there's the quippy action that we get from Bruce Willis is obviously there. Timothy Olyphant delivers on the serious bad guy one-liners, but it's really Kevin Smith and Justin Long's humor that kind of break this up to some of the monotony in the middle of it. Yeah, I think Kevin Smith was great in this film.
Yeah, how about you, Cora? What do you think of the cast of the film? Who stood out to you the most?
Well, Bruce Willis clearly, but I like Justin Long. He's been in other movies, and this was the first time I saw him like in an action movie, and he kept up real good. Timothy Olyphant is like a given, he's like Meryl Streep in any movie, in the 80s and 90s. Put him in, and he'll do fine. Maggie Q is great, but one of the supporting actors who played Melina, Zelchko Ivanovic or whatever, he's Russian. He played one of the coolest vampires in True Blood. It was only like a handful of episodes. It was fucking great. And he's played minor roles in other things. So I love seeing random good B actors, you know what I'm saying, in a good movie that may not make it big, but really just are a little gem, So yeah, I think I would say Justin Long really was a nice surprise at how well he performed in this, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Zelenko Ivanek, he's been a really good character actor too. He was in what the hell was he in? He was the guy that shot House in the House TV series towards the later end of the series.
Oh,
he's also playing a lot. He's also playing a lot of political stuff as well. But yeah, I mean, I cannot talk about how brilliant enough that Timothy Olyphant.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
I mean, I said it 100 times. Movies like this are only as good as their bad guy. And if you'd have given me a dumb bad guy, I would have ruined all the best stuff about this movie. He is absolutely fucking brilliant this entire movie. Like, I cannot knock any part of his performance. He is so damn good. The first thing I remember seeing him in is he was Delroy Lindo's partner in Gone in 60 Seconds that came out back in like the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that movie like 25 times.
Yeah, and he's got a couple lines. He's not really important. He's just kind of there for Delroy Lindo to talk to at a couple points in the movie. But, I mean, he's been in so much stuff where he's been so very good. Justified was a tremendously popular show.
Scream 2.
I watched
top 10 shows of all time for me.
I watched a few episodes of it and I liked it. I haven't sat down to watch it from start to finish. I just haven't had time. But I mean, he was.
The next time I watch it, I'm going to count how many people he shoots.
He was, and I will die on this hill. I will 100% die on this hill. If Jeremy were here, he might argue with me. I'll have to get a hold of him and see exactly what he thinks. He was the best Agent 47 from his Hitman movie. Like that Hitman movie that he was in was fantastic. The other Hitman movie was okay. It wasn't great. The movie where he plays Hitman was awesome. I love the visuals. It was very much kind of a, they always talk about some comic book movies like it's page come to life for the comic book movies. Stuff like the Watchmen was kind of the page to life thing.
Oh, Watchmen was tremendous.
I thought that right out of the video game this movie came out of. It's one of the few video game and movie adaptations that to me has hit the mark completely. One of the very few. This is before that we had like Last of Us that has adapted it very well to the screen, and some other ones that have done okay, but a lot of them just failed because it's really hard to translate that story. His performance is one of the things that really makes that movie fantastic. And again, another great action piece with a lot of really cool shit going on. But there really is so much. I mean, like you said, Kevin Smith, Maggie Q is another one. There was
a TV show that she was a star in after this that I watched her in, and I cannot remember what it was.
She was in that. She was in that short-lived TV series that Kiefer Sutherland was in called Designated Survivor. It was
I think this was like ABC. A CW TV show that she did or something.
It was on. It was like an action. It was on for a season on ABC. It ended up going to Netflix, and Netflix just kind of ran it for a season and canceled it. Really disappointed because I think that show was fantastic.
I should have looked that up. I can't remember that.
But yeah, let me go look up some of the stuff she's done real quick. I know I've seen her in other things. Let's see, Mission Impossible 3. She was in. She did some stuff in Hong Kong. Die Hard Priest. The Protege was the other thing she was in. That I remember watching it once and I liked. She was in Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant, which I saw one of those movies. I don't really know. And she also played the Special Agent Hannah Wells in the Designated Survivor, which, like I said, got 2 seasons. They killed her character at the end of the 2nd season. I don't know if they were planning on canceling the show anyway, but that to me is where the show just kind of died off.
Isn't she a real martial artist? Like she does a lot of her own stunts and stuff, whatever. Right? I'm pretty sure she's one of that.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, she grew up doing films in Hong Kong. I think that's what they do.
Right.
Oh yeah. It says right here she became a protege of Jackie Chan. So yeah, she knows a little something about throwing a kick.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah, I thought that was like why she was so famous because she was like the girl Jackie Chan or whatever. But, she's good in this. I like her.
Yeah, but yeah, Justin Long is fantastic. Maggie Q is fantastic. But again, the one who steals this entire film for me. Not that anybody was stealing any scenes from Bruce Willis. But I mean, it was definitely Timothy Olyphant.
No, but the thing is about the Die Hard movies is he's the constant, and the supporting actors, they're kind of really important. So they have to shine a little bit because they're the plot.
I'll say this, and we may touch on this later, but I want to say it now. This movie had the best yippee placement of yippee motherfucker with Timothy Olyphant sticks that gun in Bruce Willis's shoulder, and I'll make sure they put in your tombstone. He was a guy that was at the wrong place at the wrong time. How about yippee pop? Bruce Willis shoots himself to shoot Timothy Olyphant. I was like, oh my god, that was maybe the best scene in any Die Hard movie we've had yet. And it's just and it's not the action, it's the dialogue between Bruce Willis and Timothy Olyphant. The way they play it, it's just so good. I love how they did that scene.
As I kind of sit back and look at all 5 of the Die Hard films, the bad guys are fantastic. The 5th one does not have a good bad guy, and I think maybe that's one of the reasons why.
Well, there's I just watched it. There isn't really a bad guy in general. It's like a couple people,
right?
And then there's
this other
bad guy who wants to hurt the bad guy. It's just like the bad guy is just.
Yeah, Die Hard 5 it's way too convoluted, is what it is for a Die Hard. That's like its main problem, I think.
Yeah, you have, like I said, first we have Alan Rickman, fantastic, one of his defining roles. Second movie, you have William Sadler and John Amos, as it would turn out. So you have a little bit of a plot twist at the end with John Amos. Both fantastic actors that can carry a movie all by themselves. Third one, you have Jeremy Irons, who himself is a legendary actor already at this point. That guy's been so great in so many things.
I love Jeremy Irons.
Olyphant, the perfect bad guy. Fifth movie, some random Russian.
Not even that. It's just saving his son is the plot.
Well, that's it, but that's his personal stake in it. But the reality is this is not a good bad guy. If you'd have given me a better bad guy, I think that movie might have gone better. And to top it off, as I shove my camera here because I'm yanking on cords. Another thing is the fifth movie was the only movie to be written solely for the screen. Every other movie except for the fifth one was based on another work.
Okay.
The first one was based on a book. The second was based on a different book. The third one was based on something else. This movie was based on an article written for Wired magazine about hackers and all that. And they just kind of like wrote a story around that and inserted McClane as the protagonist. The fifth one is the one that was written for the big screen. It was not based on anybody else's work. And I think that's probably part of it is like you kind of got out of formula. You gave me you gave me a terrible bad guy and you left the formula behind. So maybe that's
not just that, but to be fair, I mean, go back to Die Hard 3. That was whenever, they brought in Sam Jackson as kind of the partner that carried it on this one with the daughter. And, he had the younger version. Or not the younger version of him, but the younger opposite version of him. So by the third movie of, John McClane with a partner, I think people didn't kind of like it as much. And which I like. I like Jack Courtney. I think he's a great actor. I love his Boomerang and Suicide Squad. I'm a big fan of the guy. But it's just by the third John McClane film with a partner and, now he's older and even more grumpy. I think that's kind of the why it doesn't work in 5, whereas it works in 4 because, it was the first time that we saw it. So I think that's got something to do with it. What's up, Garza?
Terrible bad guy. I don't know. Like I said, it probably should have ended right here. I'm just glad it didn't end with him have one of those I'm too old for this shit moments and deciding to retire. That would have been a terrible ending. But I'm the franchise should have stopped here for me, if you're asking me. But
Die Hard 4 had Creedence Clearwater Revival. I'm a fan. Thumbs up for me. That's a good band. So I'm good.
When the helicopters were flying around, just like in a Vietnam movie, only it wasn't based in Vietnam.
Right, yeah. If you open your movie with CCR, you've got my attention. So I dig it.
Let's talk about the plot of the film now. Again, this is one of the brilliant things about this movie is they changed it up, a whole different approach to what John McClane has to deal with, which I thought was a great way of doing things, having him going up against somebody who is intellectually far superior than him, maybe not as strong in a fight. Because my one real knock in this movie is that if Timothy Olyphant in that stage and John McClane were to actually fight, John McClane would probably tear him in half. But yeah. Even intellectually, his superior. The best Die Hard movies are when John McClane is up against the ropes right up to the last second. It seems like every movie he's just getting his ass whooped all up and down. You think he's going to lose. The last second, that one heave ho, that one yippee-ki-yay motherfucker moment that ends up sealing the deal. But again, a fantastic situation to put him in because it was so vastly different than anything else we'd seen him in. I'll go to you first, Cora. What do you think of the plot of the film? Did it work for you? Is there anything you would have changed?
We have Cora.
Okay, Tex, you go ahead and take over. She probably went to go see.
Okay, yeah.
Or something like that.
No, sorry, my dogs are barking. I was muting because I didn't want problems.
Frank was right. Go ahead. Go ahead, Cora. Okay,
she's
never mind.
She's dealing her dogs right
anyway,
now.
Yeah, I'll deal with I'll talk
can
what
hear that. You can hear that.
Yeah, I'll talk once she figures it out. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I like the plot of this movie because obviously it's now for 2007, technology-wise, this was very fantastic. But this movie has aged very well. Like I said earlier, we are all so codependent with our technologies that people get anxiety attacks when they don't have their cell phone with them. And it's connected to the refrigerator, to the toaster, to the washing machine. It's in everything now. So when you take the idea of, your transportation, your energy, your everything, we're going to take it all away and there's nothing you can do. Which, by the way, that whole president speech, iconic. Like that minute and a half video that they made in this movie, absolutely fantastic. That was just so cool to see the way they, I tried to put in more Nixon. I love that little line, by the way. But yeah, the plot, the plot of we're just going to take over your whole world and there's nothing you can do. And this low tech '80s tough guy somehow finds a way to beat, the complete something he should have no like. He was just a beat cop going to pick up some hackers. Like that was his whole job. Like he didn't plan to be Superman that day, but that's what makes the charm of John McClane so good is he's not Rambo. He's not the Terminator. He's just another guy. And now he does some fantastical things like jumping a police car into a helicopter. Hey, that's pretty cool. Hell, I'd love to do that. But hey, in the first
helicopter with a car.
But to be fair, one thing I will defend. People chastise this film because that's when they turned John McClane into a superhero. Was he not diving out of a building in the first one with a water hose wrapped around him? Like what? How is that really much that bigger than that? I think that's about the same level, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think the plot works. I think it's good. I like how John McClane has to depend on the younger generation. He has to depend on the guy who's hitting on his daughter. And as a guy with teenage daughters that are dating, I completely understand everything that John McClane, every feeling he has towards Justin Long in this movie. Like he kind of despises him, but he sees potential. I get that. I understand that. So yeah,
he doesn't hit on his daughter until the end. In all fairness, so.
Right? But you get what I'm saying. Though, when that happens, like you can see that look of I'll kill you too. That kind of thing. So yeah, I get it.
I don't know, Cora, if you're able to now, if you're
I am.
Down, why don't you go ahead and give me some of your thoughts on the plot? Did it work for you, or would you have changed anything?
Oh, it worked for me. The concept of having domestic government-based people coming after America blew my mind when I saw this years ago. And I was like, wait, he's what? It's goes everything against the grain of, and so it was like Tex was saying, it has carried well over time, but it was a revolutionary plot concept back then. And I remember watching it going, wow, wouldn't it suck if this happened? So yeah, I mean, you can joke, all you want about Terminator 3 and stuff, but that's not us going after us. When the us is going after us, it's emotional. So this movie was, the plot was engaging, it was revolutionary, and I really liked it.
Yeah, like I said, I think one of the things that drives this movie is the plot. It was so perfectly timed. We were headed, in 2007 this movie came out. So in the middle of the 2000s, I mean, obviously terrorism was a big deal. It was fresh in everybody's mind after, we're only a few years after 9/11. The computer revolution is really starting to take over everything. So, and there were a lot of fears at the time, and even now, more so when it comes to stuff like AI, that people were concerned about having everything being attached to a keyboard and everything being coded. And this is legitimately one of the things that could happen when you have everything wired into an internet. So it's a legitimate fear, one that's very real world. I mean, if you'd have made this movie 30 years ago, that'd have been like, no, those kind of computer things, they're all science fiction. We're never going to have like Star Trek where you could just say, hey, computer, do this. We're not that far away from having exactly that capability now. Even in 2007, we're not that far away from having.
Hey Siri or Hey Google is a thing in 2025.
Yeah. So we're not that far off. So yeah, like I said, modernizing the plot, not just having him be a bunch of against some terrorists, was really one of the best things they did with this thing. I thought the plot was fantastic. I would have changed the damn thing. Again, it's like I said, when he calls him a Timex watch in a digital age, I was just like, that really is kind of the greatness of this movie, is that he's not so much the fish out of water, but he's a bit of a dinosaur in this new, rapidly changing world, but he does still have some value. He still is the good guy. He still is the hero. And I even love that part when he's talking to Justin Long about how, when Justin Long says, I can't be you, I can't be the hero. He goes, well, you don't really want to be. It's not always, it's not always the action movie hero stuff that you think about. There, I eat a lot of dinners alone, got divorced. This hero thing is not all. It's not always all it's cracked up to be. So don't look to be me. I guess in a way, he's telling him to kind of find his way in this new world and not to be the old school kind of guy, because the world doesn't exist for old school kind of guys anymore.
Well, they even touch on that in the Kevin Smith scene when they go into the basement. He's looking around at the computers and the whatever, and he picks up the handle for the CB radio. He goes, "Isn't this a little low tech for you?" Like, he even kind of calls it out in that scene by the symbology of the CB radio. Even Kevin Smith, who's all about the technology, he's like, "Yeah, well, that's the thing that's going to keep me connected to it, whether it's humans or zombies or whatever," he said. So they even kind of play off of the, the whole age thing, which you have to. I mean, this is the fourth time we're seeing this character. Age is going to come up. He's not Superman. He's not infinite, So it's something like that is inevitable. Hell, Danny Glover made a whole career of, "I'm too old for this shit." He was only like 40 years old when he said that line. So it's a thing in action movie.
Boy, Alex the Garbage Man just keep giving and giving and giving. I just got a picture that I'm going to show you guys after we're done here that Alex sent me.
What's up, Alex?
We're going to enjoy this picture on Tuesday when we do the Toxic Avenger review.
Oh no!
But
It's a good thing Casey's gone from the chat.
Yeah, he's helping a friend of the school project. School project? What are you, like 7? I haven't done a school project in like 100
Dr.
years.
Nick's going back for that extra PhD. Hey,
College.
He had to work real hard to be called doctor, sir. I will not have you disrespect him. He earned that PhD by now.
He got his PhD at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box. I know him.
Fuck, you can get a PhD.
It's a little bitty one. It's like this big. In a Cracker Jack box. Yeah, but it's a Canadian PhD. It doesn't mean anything. It just comes with
no.
You get a bottle of syrup with it.
I don't think that translates to the the greater United States. I'm pretty sure that only exists.
You do know most of the doctors in the United States are the good ones. The newer ones are educated outside of the United States and moved here, right?
Nah.
Okay, never mind.
America.
I don't know if it's true or not, but nah. Nah.
Yeah, it is, but it's okay.
But let's take a minute to rank the Die Hard movies now. We've seen all 5 of them. Like I said, I may do like a short review for the 5th one, just to be a bit of a completionist.
It is fresh in my mind.
But ranking the Die Hard movies, I'll go to you first, Lady Cora, since it's fresher in your mind and probably it is ours. Give me your movies. Number 1, your favorite through your least favorite in the Die Hard franchise.
1, 2, 4. I don't even remember 3. I don't know if I've ever watched it. And 5, I guess, it's fitting that it's number 5 because it's 5 on my list.
I see Tex frantically scribbling down notes.
Hey, I have to do my John Madden homework. So boom, pow, zing, all of that. So it's fine.
Tex, rank the movies for me 1 through 5. Favorite to least favorite.
Number 5 is 5. Number 4 is 2 because I don't remember much about that movie. Die Hard 2 is very forgettable to me. 3, I have Die Hard 1. Surprisingly enough, I know everybody harps over it and rah-rahs, whatever. I think it's fine, whatever. Number 2, I have Die Hard 3. I think Die Hard 3 is way better than 1. The comedic thing with Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis back and forth, Jeremy Irons that we touched on a couple weeks ago, whatever. And number 1, I've got this one. I adore this film. I'm not a huge Die Hard guy, but like, if I'm going to watch a Die Hard movie, I'm going to this one. So 4, 3, 1, 2, and 5 because 5 doesn't exist. So whatever.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this real quick, Tex. Of all the Die Hard movies, which one is the best Christmas movie?
I quit the podcast. I'm done. I'm out of here.
Look, this is the last Die Hard movie we're going to review. I have to take one more shot.
I would say, actually, do you know what the best Die Hard Christmas movie is? Carry On. So I'm going to subvert your answer, sir. There you go.
Fair enough.
So.
I will accept that answer. But for me, and maybe this is a little bit of recency bias, but as I said earlier, the first one and this one are God, they're neck and neck right here. So I'm going to let the recency bias win this one, and I'm going to say this is my favorite of the Die Hard movies. Very close second is the first one, and at that point, it pretty much goes first, second, third. There's not a big gap between those top four. There is a big gap between the fourth one and the fifth one. I don't consider the fifth one very good. Good action, and it's great to see Bruce Willis in character and all that. But I mean, that's really the only good part about the fifth movie. But I do think it goes 5, 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5 for me. I really like Die Hard 2. Like I said,
hang on, wait. So, Frank, what was yours? You said 4, 1.
I said 4, 1, 2, 3, 5.
3, 5. And Cora, what was yours? You said 5 at the bottom.
1, 2, 4, 3, 5.
1, 2, 4, 3, 5. Okay. So 4 technically averages the highest. We all put 5 at the bottom. I've got 3 at 2. Y'all have 3 at 4.
I don't even remember 3. So I just put it in because 5 has to be worse than 3 from what I hear.
There's the breakdown if y'all want to. But yeah, Frank and I, our lists aren't realistically the 2 through 4 for Frank and my list are all the ones different. Cora's is almost in order except for 4 overtook 3, so that's not bad. I think that's probably average what most people would say. I like this one,
but I'm just really the first 2 are nostalgic. This is modern. Okay. I like for nostalgia.
Well, okay, 2 was forgettable for me. What was so great about it for you though?
Because it tied right in. 1 and 2 feel like one movie to me.
Okay, I get that.
So, to me, it's hard to say 1 is higher than 4 when 1 and 2 are basically a 1 and part 2 for me. So,
right.
Like I said, I really like 2 because again, there's a great bad guy. I mean,
yeah.
William Sadler's good. And I think when we did the second one, I even said that I've always appreciated William Sadler's reigns because I think within a year he did Die Hard 2, where he was the bad guy doing Tai Chi naked in the beginning of the movie in his hotel room and kicking John McClane's ass in the wing of an airplane that was getting ready to take off, to being death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. That's range. Yeah. That is range.
But here's he was fine as a bad guy, but whenever you're going up against people like Alan Rickman, Jeremy Irons, and Timothy Olyphant, you're going to have to bring in lunch because you're going to work that day. There's been some great villains in this series. And, I think Jeremy Irons is still the best bad guy that we've seen in a Die Hard movie. But, one of
the things about this franchise, about the bad guys, is that all the bad guys, with the exception of maybe Jeremy Irons and Alan Rickman, because they are in the series brothers, they are kind of closely tied.
Yeah,
is that every bad guy is a different flavor of bad. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's you got Alan Rickman in the first one. They even kind of joke about the movie. He's essentially just a super thief. He's not robbing a 7-Eleven. He's going after millions of dollars. Second movie, they're not after any of they consider themselves the good guys. That's one of the things that's most interesting about the bad guys in the second movie is they think they're just. They are kind of like Thanos. They're doing something they think for the right reason. And the best good guys are usually the guys that think they're the good guys, that they think they're doing something for a just reason. And they think that Esperanza had been, wrongfully in prison and that he's really a revolutionary and blah, blah, blah. And you can get into, the politics of the time, the mid-late 80s, that would have made more sense if you read up on it. But because he had Iran Contra and everything that was still in the news then, all the stuff in South America, its connection to the Middle East, it's gotten on and on and on. But yeah, he wasn't after any money. He was after what he thought was just. It was freedom and justice. Mm-hmm. That's what he was after. What the buzzwords that a lot of us would think were good. And then of course you get to the third movie and it's just another super robbery where they're trying to get all the gold. And then this movie where technically 3. Jeremy Irons was trying to avenge his brother though too.
Yeah,
but I think if he'd have given him a choice between killing McClane or getting the money, he'd have taken the money.
Oh,
which makes no sense because he already had money. Think that it's so weird. I think we even pointed that out when we were.
But isn't that look? This movie's the same way. Can you imagine how much money it would have taken to have put this thing into effect? You got the truck. You got all this computer tech. You got $30,000 or $40,000 worth of guns and ammunition alone. As soon as he pulled opened the all the guns, and I was like, oh, that's my dream right
just for that 18-wheeler hauler with all the tech in it would have been $1 billion. Like, how much more do you need at this point? Come on.
That's kind of a staple of movies like this, though. Is you got to look at it and be like, if you want to get the money to even try this, why are you trying to rob anybody anyway? Go take your $100 million, go live on an island somewhere. It's like, why are you
just build an island? They do that in countries. Just build an island.
Really? Yeah.
Make your own island in the middle of the ocean.
No doubt. Go do something like that. But you can't have a movie. McClane can't say yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, one more time on camera unless you pull some crazy shit. But yeah, the bad guys were all different flavors. And again, you get to the Russian guy in the fifth one, which, whatever. They even tried that little plot twist at the end about his daughter, but that just didn't work for me. But that's one of the great things about this franchise is that all the great movies had very different bad guys. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, there's our rankings. You guys can feel free to agree or disagree with them all you want. Let's get into a little bit of trivia now. And I found a few good ones. I mean, there's a lot of really long-winded ones, but I try to avoid the long-winded ones these days. But let's see. It's you talked earlier about the video package that they did. It actually
president, yeah.
It took 4 months to assemble and combine archive footage of past American presidents from Franklin D. Roosevelt to George W. Bush to create the televised warning from Gabriel. The goal was to create a video representation of an old school ransom note where they would cut the little letters out of the magazine.
The letters out of magazines.
Yeah. Like you said, I think that was one of the best parts of the movie.
Well, to me, that scene cemented my love for this movie. It was so ominous. Like now with people. I mean, go on YouTube. Sorry, my dog is doing a thing. People go on YouTube and they do this all kind of stuff with taking videos, clipping, and AI can do this now, which back then was much harder to do. Now is whatever, but like to watch that was so cool to me. I really enjoyed that. I like that part of it.
Yeah, also it was super creepy. I even like how they reacted. He goes, that is real creepy.
Well, see, I think, hang on, somebody want a free dog? I got to turn this off. You remember Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, right? Where, Zod comes to Earth? That Zod video message that he does in that movie, that was in 2008 or, when did Man of Steel? I think it was 2008 or 2009 when Man of Steel came out. But they had a video in that movie too where Zod kind of did like a "You Are Not Alone" speech where it went all over the television, all over everything. And of course, that came after this film, just like a year before. So I wonder if
Man of Steel came out in 2013.
Was it 13? Okay, I thought it was on that. I can't remember what I was in. Maybe I was in Dark Knight Rises. Either way, my point still stands. Like that video scene of how Zod announces himself to Earth was kind of like what they did in this movie. Kind of, very cryptic, very weird. I liked it. I thought it worked well.
Let's see. On to the next one. The water treatment facility near Los Angeles doubled as the film's Woodlawn Social Security Administration building. The facility has miles of underground tunnels and was also used in Die Hard 2 when Bruce Willis runs through the tunnels underneath the airport.
I think I remember you saying that whenever we reviewed a different Die Hard. Maybe I watched. I can't remember. But there are so many of those big, vast buildings that double for the underground White House or the blah 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 or the whatever. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to Washington or whatever, but there's a ton of gigantic places like that they all kind of look the same.
I actually think I don't think I put this in here, but the outside of the Social Security office that they kind of take over, the exterior shots were done at a local high school.
Oh
wow!
Which is not uncommon in LA. I mean, they film at high schools all the time.
Right. Well, that's what's so funny. They'll take the exterior of one house and put the inside of another, and they expect you to believe it. But if you actually think about layouts, none of it really matches, and that's kind of where my mind goes at times in movies. But
like the Brady Bunch house.
Yeah, or
the Brady Bunch house in I think it's in Culver City. The exterior shots from a house in Culver City. The interior of that house looked nothing like that. It was all on a sound
same
stage.
thing with the Golden Girls house. It's just
but
it's it's not a real house.
Whoever bought the Brady Bunch house that the exterior shots were of actually remodeled the inside of the house to look like
it was a TV show, Frank. I watched the whole thing. It was a group of people, and they were going to put up for sale. But like, who's going to buy that? Like,
I would 100%.
They should turn into an Airbnb. They just turn to an Airbnb and let everybody like.
Oh my God!
Wants to, like,
I could see Frank putting on an afro wig with too tight of pants, standing on the top of the set. Oh, Jen, Greg.
I am rocking the bell bottoms, baby. You know it.
Do you and Jen have enough kids to put them all on the stairs?
I've got nephews and cousins and nieces.
Now, I don't know if you have any Marshes in your family, but they must be involved just for the lines alone.
Oh yeah, so. Between my nieces and nephews alone, I got it covered. Some younger cousins. I'm sure we can make it work. I can make that picture happen. I guarantee. But let's see, what's my next piece? We're gonna go back to talk about Kevin Smith. Let's see. Kevin Smith rewrote lines for his Warlock character. Bruce Willis thought the rewrite was too funny and did not follow the serious mood of the movie. Smith then rewrote the part to what Willis requested.
Whoever decided the rewrite, I think it works because he's got that nerd rage. Like, you brought a cop to my command center. It's a basement. And Bruce Willis kind of gives that little chuckle that he does or whatever, that, laughing him off or whatever. It works because it's so nonsensical which that scene would have never worked in any other Die Hard movie other than a tech-based one, because that would not be needed in any other movie. But I like that scene in the movie, and I think it really makes it stand out.
You ever hear him talk about working with Kevin Smith in this movie, or about him?
Oh, he does not like. Yeah, he does not like him.
Well, he had said that like they were talking between scenes, and he was talking to Bruce Willis, and he's like, "Hey, we should do a movie together sometime." Bruce Willis was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So he wrote Cop Out for Bruce Willis, and he said Bruce Willis was just like not into it the whole time. He's like, he didn't want to be there, and he thought that Bruce Willis was just kind of being a dick. It turns out that it was right about that time, and Kevin Smith, after finding out about Bruce Willis's health things, he found out that it was right about this time that he may have started suffering some of the initial problems from his aphasia. And that was affecting his ability to work and his kind of his mental state. So he said for years before anybody knew that, I said, I just kind of thought he was a dick. He's like, but now thinking back, it's like maybe, they were saying that maybe at this time period, he may have been starting to suffer some of the effects. He's like, so now I feel really sorry. He's like, so I just kind of let all that annoyance and anger that I felt towards him go. He's like, and now I just hope for him the best. He's like, because he can't know one way or the other. He's like, but it's possible. So I'm just going to let that shit go. But
right. Well, I'm not someone who holds on to grudges. I get it. You cannot like somebody and kind of bury the hatchet.
Who could have been Matt Farrell? This is the only really weird casting stuff that I found about this. Scott Speedman, not surprisingly, because he'd worked with Len Wiseman before, was actually Wiseman's first choice for the role of Matt Farrell, whereas Ben Affleck was actually Bruce Willis's first choice for the role. Willis wanted Affleck in order to recreate the chemistry the two characters had previously accomplished on Armageddon just a few years earlier.
Affleck would have been too old. How old was he at this point? Let's see. He was already in his 30s by this point, right?
Did we lose Cora? She must be having problems with
her. I don't see. No, but either way, I think Ben Affleck would have been too old, and which it would have been real funny because Kevin Smith and Affleck have the connections and everything that they do. It would have been fun to have seen them in this in a different capacity. But I don't think Affleck, as much as I'm a fan of his Batman, I don't think he would have been a good fit for that.
Yeah, I don't think it would have worked out very well either. It's like I can see Affleck playing a smart computer guy. What was that one movie he did where he reverse engineers the whole thing? We can see the time, forward in time, whatever it's called. I forget. But I
don't know. I don't know that movie.
I know what movie I'm talking about. I just can't bring it up. But yeah, I can see him being a computer intelligent character. But I think this movie called for the scrawny computer nerd that cannot be physically imposing the way that Bruce Willis can. Affleck, even back in 2007 or whatever, when this movie came out, he's a bigger guy. He's physically fit. He can himself strike kind of an imposing character. You don't want him to look physically like he's well matched with Bruce Willis. You need somebody to be.
Isn't he bigger than Bruce Willis? Is that?
I don't know that, but I mean, well, I don't know if he's bigger or not. My point is that you don't want somebody who's equal to or around the area of Bruce Willis when it comes to the physical imposition. You want somebody who's going to be that scrawny nerd who's going to look like a sidekick, because this whole movie he looks like a sidekick. I don't know that Affleck would have carried that look off. Speedman, I don't even think would have done it, because Speedman, while he's not terribly cut, he's got he's tall, he's got the long blonde hair, the eyes, he's too good looking, whereas Justin Long looks very normal. I'm not saying he's ugly, he just looks normal. He looks like an average human being.
If you think, early 2000s computer hacker, Justin Long fits the mold. He's kind of the skinny, lankier, got the long, shaggy looking dude, wearing the black t-shirt. Like, he fit the mold. Now, obviously, they may have, obviously they dressed him for the part, but he still had the correct look and base of what that would have been. So he fit better in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's see. The phrase "live free or die" is from a toast written by the Revolutionary soldier General John Stark. The full phrase is, quote, "Live free or die. Death is not the worst of evils." A little bit of history for all of you today.
I mean, it's better to die on your feet than live on your knees, right? So I get it.
Next picture. You'll be happy for this one, Tex. You'll be very happy for this one, as a matter of fact. This is the first Die Hard movie where no reference is made to Christmas.
Thank fucking Christ. Hey, this is a July 4th movie. And I will not argue one bit that this is a July the 4th movie. This is all a July the 4th movie. This is pure Americana right here, pal. So all you Christmas Die Hard people can shove it as far as that one goes. This is a 4th of July movie, and it's better than that one. So boo. So,
Yeah, it should come as no surprise when getting shots like this, which is probably mostly model or CGI, but still not cheap. Each day of shooting cost an average of $375,000.
Gee. Now, I wonder how many pages a day they were doing for this movie to get that much money. I mean, obviously with all the action scenes and the whatever. Like,
like some of it is modeling. I would imagine this shot right here was probably a model. But
like it kind of looks like it, especially on the right of that picture. That kind of looks like
maybe
miniature,
maybe even a little bit of CGI, but who knows?
Yeah.
But let's see a couple more.
Yeah. Wait! You're telling me Bruce Willis didn't actually hang on to the back of an F-18 and do his thing? He didn't actually do that.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he could have. He could have back in the day. He was.
Hey,
he was young. Good.
If Tom Cruise had made this movie, he totally would have hung off the back of an F-18.
He absolutely would have hung off the back of an F-18. Let's see. Although complaining that he is starving throughout the entire movie, Matt never gets to eat during the entire ordeal.
Hey, you got to keep a goal. Bruce Willis was trying to keep his lackey going. Do what you got to do, right?
Let's see. Here's a good picture. Okay, first off, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, so gorgeous in this movie.
She did look good.
But she was not the first person to be considered for the role.
Really?
To no one's surprise, Bruce Willis's daughter, Rumor Willis, was actually considered to play his daughter in the film. Britney Spears and Taylor Fry also auditioned for the role of Lucy McClane. Britney Spears, I'm very glad, did not get it. Taylor Fry
should have been.
Taylor Fry would have been interesting symmetry, because Taylor Fry is the one that played his daughter in the first movie.
If they had casted Britney Spears at some point in time, she would have said, "Hit me, baby, one more time." They would have put that line in there somewhere.
I 100% would have liked this movie a lot less if they would have cast her.
I'm not saying it's good, but I do want to go to that multiverse where Britney Spears did star in this movie, just to see the fiasco, because that'd be great. I would love to watch that.
Just so I could look at it and be like, this is why you don't cast that bitch. You can't sing or act, damn it. She's got one move when she's dancing. It's this thing right here. That's all she's got. All this right here. That's her whole dance. That's her whole routine. Just silly. Now,
hang on.
Rumor Willis would.
If that's the case,
she's done some acting.
I've seen her in a few things. I forget what I've seen her in, but I've seen her in a few things. I can't remember right now. Oh, dadgum. That's good. I can't remember, but I've seen her in something.
What
I
has
don't know
Rimmer
what.
been in? She appeared in such film as Striptease, which I would assume, well, it's her mom was in that, so that makes sense. Hostage in 2005, The House Bunny.
Was she in Yoga Hosers? Is that where I saw her?
She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Maybe that was it.
No. Yoga Hosers is Johnny Depp's daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter.
And Harley Quinn Smith. Yeah, okay. I thought maybe she was in that too. I couldn't remember. I couldn't. Okay. Yeah. She's not bad. She's not a bad actress.
Yeah, I mean, Rumor Willis could have. I mean, that could have worked. But like I said, I like the idea of the symmetry of having Taylor Fry come back and play his daughter. I think that would have been interesting because she played the young version of Lucy in the first movie, just in that one clip on TV. So that would have been interesting symmetry. But
now, is Rumor Willis Demi Moore's daughter as well, or is that from another marriage that he had?
No, that's Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's daughter.
Okay, because she looks nothing like her mother. She's a female Bruce Willis, basically. Like she got all that.
This picture that I'm looking at, she definitely favors her mom a bit, but she's also done up in a dress with makeup and all that. So maybe that.
Yeah, I don't need to see Bruce Willis in a dress for comparison. I don't need to see that. So I'm good.
Yeah, me neither. But House Bunny Streak, let's see, Sorority Row. Let's see, a bunch of really small stuff. I mean, what life had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She played a role in that.
My favorite Tarantino film. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
A little bit of TV, Army Wives, CSI New York. She was in a episode. She was in an episode of 911. I must have missed that one. I've seen just about all of that.
Never seen much of it.
But yeah, that's a good place to start wrapping things up for today. A little bit of a shorter show because Cora had to bounce out to go deal with her dogs, and Jeremy wasn't able to make it tonight because he has some kind of problem with the Die Hard movies. I don't know why. He could have watched the millennial guy beat up the Gen X guy, which I thought he would have gotten a kick out of, but no, Jeremy had other stuff going on tonight. I'm sure he'll be back to the Toxic Avenger one though, because that's exactly the kind of movie that both me, him, and
I can't wait.
will greatly enjoy.
I love trauma movies. Uncle Lloyd Kaufman, thank you for giving the world the Toxic Avenger. Trauma Studios is fantastic. I love their work. It's so good.
Yes,
Traumaville.
That is certainly the next movie we're going to be doing. So we are going to cut this one a little bit shorter than we usually do. But don't worry. It'll be okay in the end. Thanks to my co-host for coming out and being awesome as always. Lady Cora had to bounce, like I said, to deal with her dogs, but she'll be back on whenever her schedule allows. And thank you to the Shape from Lone Star State, my man Tex. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
This weekend I'll be going to see Companion, starring Jack Quaid and the chick from Heretic. I forget what her name is. Very interesting looking, love story horror film about a sex bot that goes bad.
That movie's got a ton of good buzz right now. So
I cannot wait. Hopefully we review that maybe next week or something. I don't know what all we have planned, but
I may have to squeeze it in. I had Die Hard 5. I had Die Hard 5 squeezed into the schedule just because I wanted to complete it, but now I just don't want to do it. We may have to find a way.
Yeah, no, Companion, unless it comes out. It comes out this weekend. I love how the first trailer it's like a romantic trailer, and then you see the girl with her hand on fire because she's actually a robot. It looks really cool.
Because what the hell is that all about? But
yeah.
You'll be able to find me back here on Tuesday. We're going to go over The Toxic Avenger, one of my absolute favorite films from my youth. If you love the stuff that Tex loves, the extreme gore, the crazy effects, lots of naked women, lots of crazy stuff going on, this is going to be one of Tex's favorite reviews to do. I'm 100% sure of that. But come back and see us on Tuesday to do Toxic Avenger. Thanks to all of you for hanging out with us tonight. Frederico, Dr. Nick was in here. I got a great picture you guys are going to love for next week, especially you, Casey, that Alex sent me while we were live today. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to BJ was here. BJ, we love you dearly. Let's see. Frederico was in here, like I said. Thanks to all of you for coming and hang out. We very much appreciate it. See you guys on Thursday. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you then. Adios. I mean, it's a Christmas movie.
Adios, Nick.
What? We're gonna have to break this down. Like every stupid holiday, we're gonna have to find like the one movie that fits that holiday. What did we say the last one was? Was Arbor Day? Was it Arbor Day movie?
Yeah, Arbor Day because trees were in New York City. Yes, it was Arbor Day.
Totally. Nick says he loves us, but no homo.
Die Hard is just
totally homo.
Die Hard is just it's a holiday franchise for whatever you need it to be. I love it. It works.
Like I said, whatever movie you watch on Christmas is a Christmas movie. So Die Hards are all Christmas movies.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.